This is update for October 29, 2023, day 613 of the war and of the date update. This is also catch up for October 28 and 27. I'm gonna just jump straight to the situation on the battlefield. There's not really much strategic that's going on that you probably haven't seen on the sort of regular media. As I always do, I'm going to start with the walkthrough in a clockwise fashion, starting from the very north. Situation along the state border remains the same, no essential changes there. Now let's move to the situation on the north Lugansk front line. Things here somewhat quieter, just some fairly small tactical attacks in the northern sector of it, next to Kupiansk, without any success there. Now let's look at North Donbass front line. In the northern sector, things remain the same, no essential changes. Ukrainian command has pulled resources from here. This didn't happen, obviously, over this couple days. This is probably was happening for a while. As the Russian threat subsided, and the opportunity to do anything, any major, attack or so-called offensive has diminished, and it has become very obvious to Ukrainian political and military command that it's not happening. They pulled resources from this area. The only place where there's some activity is around here, Klishchiivka, Avdiyivka, without. It's so sort of minuscule that it's not even worth pointing at this point. Now let's move to the central Donbass front line. Things here are happening in the sort of same fashion. Russian troops continuing attacking around Avdiyivka with the goal to create credible threat and squeeze Ukrainian forces out of this salient here. Ukrainian command brought in, as I mentioned, more resources. As you can see, at least 3 more brigades here. At this point, Russian attack has stalled, and so far chances of success pretty dim for the Russian side. And this apparently, as I said before, is turning into purely World War I type of situation. So we'll see if Russian command decides to double down. As I mentioned before, they do have resources to double down. This obviously would be extremely unwise use of resources, because in the end all they will get is Avdiyivka, and they will lose all of their possibility to do any major operation down the road. There's also, typical attacks against Marinka without any success. So this is again look at the Avdiyivka situation. Things remain the same, no essential changes here. Ukraine, as I said, Ukrainian command brought in reserves. The situation has stabilized, and in addition, Ukrainian forces have sort of upper hand geographically in terms of geography, so it's much harder for the Russian side to attack. And now let's move to the Zaporizhya front line. Things here remain more or less the same, actually pretty quiet. There's nothing going on here around Velika Novosilka area. Also just very minor, very small tactical Russian attacks against Robotyne, with attempt obviously to capture lost ground without, again, any success there. It looks like this section of the front line is sort of on a sleep of being quiet. Also want to note that Ukrainian command has pulled Navy infantry brigades from this Velika Novosilka area, and you'll see what happened there as I move to the Dnipro section of the front line. So looks like Ukrainian command has pulled those resources with the idea of potentially expanding those bridgeheads, and that's the Ukrainian forces that are being employed on this bridgeheads with the idea of expanding them. So far, this is essentially a stalemate at this point, where Russian forces cannot destroy those bridgeheads, and Ukrainian command, for whatever reason, they're not committing resources to expand the bridgehead. So it's just how long the status quo remains to be seen. In terms of Russia's ability to destroy the bridgeheads, they are essentially it's essentially impossible at this point, because Ukrainian command has artillery resources on the western bank of Dnipro River that essentially prevents any Russian attacks. So basically, Russian infantry couldn't even get to Ukrainian infantry, to approach Ukrainian infantry. So they basically kept at bay at this point. And as I said, it's somewhat unclear why Ukrainian troops are not attempting to make a decisive breach out of the bridgehead. Also, there is another news on the Russian side from this section of the front line. The commander of this section has been promoted, looks like, to the general staff, and there's new person. Actually, he's old new person, meaning he used to be on the front line. He is a general from the airborne troops. So I think he was in charge of Russia's airborne troops. His last name is Teplinsky. He is pretty well has basically good reputation among the troops. We'll see if that's going to be true, if he's going to be capable of doing anything, but this might be potentially changed for the worse for the Ukrainian side, assuming that he's capable commander. That may make it much more harder for Ukraine to either breach out of those bridgeheads or even to maintain those. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen there. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.